you ingest a poison, it brings about deterioration of the health. It may cause sickness, it may cause even death at extent consumptions. What happens when someone gets poisoning? The first thing you need to do is to observe the casualty. There may be symptoms about poisoning. The casualty may be pale, maybe having a pale face, maybe having blood constriction on the face, maybe reddening the face. The casualty may also be sweating. So what happens when you get a casualty like that situation? You need to ascertain the situation and you need to ensure that you observe the situation. Maybe the casualty ingested something like an acid or a cleaning material or a food product. The casualty, 1, what did you eat? 2, look for any signs of debris, signs of containers, signs of anything around, or signs of also vomit. You ensure that you have collected those things together. It will help the emergency responder to ascertain what kind of poisoning that the casualty has undergone. 2, you need to reassure the casualty that it is going to be fine. Most of the time you find that once someone has a poisoning issue, they freak out, and you find that they worsen the situation, because once you freak out, your heart starts beating and you increase blood flow, and so the poison will start circulating at a higher chances than when you are calm and when you are cool. 2, you need to ensure that the casualty is comfortable. Take the casualty, make the casualty sit comfortably, and introduce yourself to the casualty, ask for permission for the casualty to be helped, and also check for the temperature of the casualty. Ensure that the casualty is not having a high fever. If he is having a fever, you address the fever. Also, the casualty may be in a situation whereby the poison is irritating the casualty. If the casualty swallowed an acid, for example, it may cause irritation of the food pipe. So what happens when you do that? You give the casualty small sips of cold water. This only happens when the casualty is having irritations. Do not give the casualty food, do not give the casualty anything to eat or to drink if it is not for that case of irritation. Because once you give the casualty something to eat, it may induce vomiting. When you induce vomiting, if the casualty had consumed an acid or something that irritates, it will have another effect of irritating once more once it is coming out. So we need to ensure that the casualty does not receive anything to eat or to drink. Third, if the casualty the casualty you have observed, if the casualty is not responding, ensure that you call an ambulance. Once you have called the ambulance, continue to assure the casualty, make sure that the casualty is comfortable, and also make sure that you keep records of what you found around the scene so that you can address the situations once the EMS arrives. 2, there is something called food allergies. What happens in food allergies? Food allergies causes allergic reactions to the body. This is a reaction whereby the body has hypersensitivity to the foreign matter that has been introduced into the body. Once you have a hypersensitivity, it may be a minor hypersensitivity or it may be an advanced hypersensitivity. On the cases of hypersensitivity of low measures, you need to check what the casualty has consumed. It may be shellfish, it may be peanuts, it may be any type of food that the casualty has taken. Most of it happens when the casualty is not aware. Maybe you have bought a piece of bread or a piece of cake, and the cake had nuts or such things, and the casualty has consumed. There are symptoms which the casualty will show. 1, the casualty may start having swelling around several parts of the body. The casualty may start having small swellings coming out of the skin. The casualty may also start having sweating and reddening and becoming pale. When this happens, the first thing you need to do is assure the casualty that it's going to be fine. The second thing you need to do is ask the casualty, do you have any kind of allergic reaction? Is any food allergic to you? Ask what they ate last. Ask if the food, they bought it or they had made it themselves. Once you have done this, ask the casualty if they have medicine to take care of that situation. There are 2 things that you have. 1, there is the epinephrine. Epinephrine is a medicine that is administered to casualties who have allergic reactions. Let me show you what they look like. This is called an EpiPen. It is an epinephrine pen that is administered to adult. This one also is administered to adult, but there are also those that come for small children. Once you have this, help the casualty to administer the EpiPen to themselves. What happens is that when you administer the EpiPen, it helps to lower down the hypersensitivity and to regain control of the nervous system of the body. When you want to administer an EpiPen, you ensure that there is close contact of the EpiPen to the body. Once it is in close contact, you just press the EpiPen. It discharges that dose of epinephrine. 2, children sometimes you find that they will be afraid, they will start feeling afraid. There is an EpiPen that is bought for children that has a lot of encouragement. It has good tunes, good music, and when the child has that situation, once it starts administering, it will tell you open, administer, and then massage after administering. Today we are going to discuss about fevers. First of all, what is a fever? A fever is a body reaction that happens when the body detects foreign matter in its system. When you have a fever, the body elevates its core temperature in order to try and destroy whatsoever pathogens or viruses that have invaded the body. Once you observe that one person has a fever, what happens is that there are symptoms to fevers. 1, the person may be sweating. 2, the person may be feeling cold or shivering. And 3, the person may be having a pale face. What happens when you have a casualty that is having a fever? The first thing you need to do is that you need to ensure that the casualty is having light clothes on them. Try to reduce the heat of the body. Remove any heavy clothing that the person has. If they are in the casualty is in bed, remove the casualty, the blankets or the coverings. Ensure that the casualty has minimal dressing. The second thing you need to do once you have a casualty is to ensure that the casualty is reassured. Once the casualty has been rid of excess clothes and the casualty has been reassured, let the casualty calm. If the casualty has these occurrences of fevers, ask the casualty if they have any medication in them. Most of it you see that they administer paracetamol. This is administered to children up to the age of 16 years. For adults, you can administer aspirin before calling for aid so that you can let the situation be handled by an emergency responder. For more information about seizures and epilepsy, let us join next week and have a good time.